I'm Sarah and you're watching Acid Burn Zaya, and today I'm going to talk about what GoodReads said that my best books of 2022 were, according to GoodReads. So let's get into it. Now, one of the things I'll have to talk about with GoodReads is that with GoodReads, sometimes it can be inflated a little bit more and it regularly changes. So these are the ones that are correct at the time that I am posting this. Well, recording this. So in my number 10 spot is The Shadow Sister by Lucinda Riley, and I rated this a 4 stars at the time, and GoodReads has rated it as 4.31 rating, and it was rated by 55,180 ratings at the time. The Shadow Sister is the third book in the Seven Sisters series, which follows a group of adopted sisters whose father dies and leaves them, whose adopted father leaves and gives them clues as to their lineage, and you get flashbacks to who they are related to. And I thought it was, I really enjoyed it, and it was on my top books that I read in. Yes, I approve of that. Number 9 is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, which is a prequel to the Throne of Glass series. It is a set of novellas, and I give it 4 stars, and the rating for it at GoodReads at the time is 4.31, an average of 4.31, which is the same rating as The Shadow Sister, but it's number 9 because it has been rated by 293,414 ratings. That is a big difference between Lucinda Riley's book. And yes, I really enjoyed The Assassin's Blade, and I found it really easy to read. Much easier than I'm finding the Throne of Glass series at the moment, which I'm reading at the moment. So, number 8 is Verity by Colleen Hoover, which is a thriller, which I really enjoyed at the time, and I think actually it is my favorite Colleen Hoover book. Yeah, truthfully I think it's my favorite Colleen Hoover book, and I gave it a 4 stars, and most of Colleen Hoover's books I give like 3 or 2 or 1. Well, yes, but this is the highest that I've rated a Colleen Hoover book. The GoodReads has rated it 4.37, and it has been, wait till you hear this one, it has been rated over 1.7 million ratings. And to be number 8, that is amazing. And the rating changes constantly as people read it and rate it. So yes, Verity is a thriller that follows a unknown author that is asked to carry on a book series that Verity was writing, but Verity is unable to read this because she is incapacitated, and so she is going to ghostwrite the books. Our 7th book is John Green's The Anthropocene Reviewed, which I had on my top 10, and I really enjoyed, and I do constantly think about it. I thought it was a brilliant book. This is a series of essays, so they are non-fiction. It is non-fiction, and it is his view on some of the things in our everyday life. And I rated it a 5 star. I thought it was brilliant. It is so good. I highly recommend. And GoodReads has rated it as 4.37 of an average rating, and there are only 88,878 rating. Number 6 is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, which actually I am reading the sequel to at the moment. I rated this a 4 star, and the average rating was 4.41 average, and it had a rating of 89,105. So that very much goes in with the John Green amount of ratings that it has. Legendborn is about a girl who ends up upon a secret society who is basically a Camelot retelling, or it's a fantasy based upon Camelot and the Round Table, and it is about the descendants of Arthur and the Round Table. And yes, there's magic and everything, so it's very interesting, and you have a black main character, and it's very enjoyable, very gives you different points of view of everything. And so yes, it is an interesting read. In the top 5 we have as number 5 The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, and I rated this a 3-star. And I mean, it was enjoyable, it was easy to read, it was all that. I wasn't a big fan of it. Yeah, and I don't want to give to peer pressure and be like, but everyone else likes it. This has an average rating of 4.44 of an average, and the amount of rating that we have is 433,040 ratings at the time. The House in the Cerulean Sea is set in a fantasy world where you follow a social worker who is a social worker for magical beings, and they go around orphanages to make sure that they're safe, and he is sent to High Risk Orphanage, which has some of the most powerful magical creatures. It follows him as he assesses what's going on there, and maybe changes his perspective on some of the things. So number 4 is Taylor Jenkins Reid's book, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And I rated this a 4-star. I found it really easy to read. It was super quick, and GoodReads have the average rating for this is 4.46. And oh my goodness, wait till you hear this figure. It has been rated 2 million. 2 million people have rated this book. 2 million people have read this book and left a rating. Over 2 million. How scary is that? The only one that even comes close to that is Verity by Colleen Hoover. But yes, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is about an actress, an aging actress, who is given an interview and telling this, and she has been very closed off about everything, and is finally telling the story of her life and why she married her 7 husbands. And so yes, there's lots of twists and turns, and it's very interesting. Number 3 is Chain of Iron by Cassandra. Clare, I give this a 4-star, and it has an average rating of 4.46, and it was only rated by 60,971 rating, and that is a big difference between number 4, which is like 2 million. Chain of Iron follows James Herondale. It is the 2nd book in the Last Hours series, which is set in the Shadowhunters universe, and it is set in the 1900s in London, and follows the Shadowhunters there, which are the descendants of the books of the characters in the Infernal Devices series, but are also the ancestors of the characters in the Mortal Instruments series. So number 2 was on my top 10, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is The Storyteller, Tales of Life and Music by Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, and this is his memoir. I actually rated this a 3-star, and I rated it a 3-star because I'm not a big I don't really know enough about Foo Fighters, and I felt like in this, as great as it was, I really enjoyed it, is that there was stuff I didn't know about Foo Fighters, and I felt like it was written for a Foo Fighters fan, and he came off lovely, but I didn't know some of the stuff, like Foo Fighters and Nirvana stuff, and so I felt like I got a bit lost some of the time because I didn't know what was happening. But yes, so it follows his life and his stories, And yeah, some of them were really interesting and really good, and he came out lovely. He really came out really nice during it. So yes, so as an average rating by Goodreads, it was 4.49 of an average, and the amount of ratings is 89,206. Number one on what Goodreads said was the best book that I read last year was How Not to Be Strong by Alex Scott. Alex Scott is a retired female footballer, a retired English footballer who now does commentating and presenting in the UK. And I really like her. Everything. Now, this is where we talk about a bit where Goodreads is a little bit messed up, because the average rating for this is 4.52. That's why it's my top on the ratings. But it has only been rated by 855 people. So I gave this a 4-star. I did enjoy it. I did do a review on the book. So if you just go into my review playlist, you can watch my review on this book to hear more about what it is. But yeah, you can see why Goodreads is a little bit messed up, because Evelyn Hugo, which is number 4, has like 2 million people rating it. But yeah, my number 1 is like less than 900 ratings on it. But that's Goodreads. It's a little bit messed up. But yeah, so they are the top 10 books that I read last year. If you like this video, please like, and if you want to see more of my content, please subscribe. So yes, and comment if you've read any of these books, or comment in the comment section of what was in your top 10 by Goodreads. So yes.